if you know that there are creatures that go into your mouth in order to take you over, I would do everything I could to find a way to barricade my mouth.
That's easy. Get a GIMP mask.
Hey, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Charlie.
And welcome to Outsmarting the Shadows, where we help you survive horror movies. So, we watched one of my favorite horror movies today.
Yes. It's, would it be considered a classic? I mean, it's not that old. I mean, it's close to 30, right?
It was made in
close to 20.
2005.
2006.
2006.
2006?
Yes.
Oh, everything I searched at 2005.
Interesting. Everything I searched is 2006.
Huh.
I wonder if one of us is wrong.
It was recorded in 2005 and released
makes sense.
in 2006.
Maybe.
I mean, we're talking about Slither.
Slither, the 2006 movie about little alien worms starring Nathan Fillion and a bunch of other people.
Yes.
So, Slither is a horror comedy. So we're going to talk a little bit about production.
Yes. Which is Slither, which I did not know that you did not know this, but Slither is a reimagining, if you would, of a movie that came out in 1986, which we will be watching today.
So, really?
Milo,
Milo,
what are you doing?
Sweet boy.
You're stinky. Go away.
We have not given you a bath. I know you want to be on the podcast, but you didn't shower.
Yes.
Okay.
Back.
Off. Sweet boy. Off. Good boy. We're going to see who wins this battle throughout the show.
Yes. Anyways.
So, really? That's what we're watching today?
I mean, I believe so.
This is one of the only times that we've deviated completely from the plan where you weren't just like, well, we could watch whatever you want. You said, I have a horror movie that I want us to watch today.
Yes, because we saw Slither. Now we see the other one.
So,
which I forgot the name.
What?
I forgot the name.
Of Slither?
No, not of Slither, of the 1986 film.
Oh.
Which was written by and directed by a guy which I also forgot his name.
Mean
I'm
House?
not good. No, not House.
Okay, so the movie you're talking about was also in 1986.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the last movie that we talked about was House from 1986, which is why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, but actually, the movie I'm talking about, which I forgot the name. In fact, let me just look for it real quick.
Now, while you're looking for it, I have to tell you. So last episode, we did a movie called House from 1986.
Yes, we did.
And in that podcast, we asked ourselves, was there a House 2? Because it made $22.1 million off of a $3 million budget. And we looked it up. Oh my God, House is a whole thing. There's House 2, House 3, House 4. And guess what? In 2024, there's going to be House 5.
Yes. Well, it's just called House.
It's just called House?
So I think it's going to be a reimagining to reboot the intellectual property.
That's really cool. So what I was thinking is maybe after we're done with our Oktoberfest, we go into the whole House community and we start to watch all of the House movies, getting ready for the 2024
From what I understand, the best one is the first one.
That's the first best one?
Yes. From what I've seen, that's the best one. So it's just going downhill from here. And we think that the first one is not that good.
Okay, so there's got to be some hardcore 1986 House horror movie fans. Those of you who love the classic horrors, who love to see some, good old cheesy slashers and cheesy horror movies, I would love to hear from you and have you suggest movies to us because we can be converted. But at this point, looking at House, it wasn't for us.
Yes.
It was just boring.
Right?
But we love the cheesy gore. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yes. So the movie I'm talking about, that Slither, the movie we're talking about today,
was based on.
Yeah. It was based on a movie, or has the idea, we have to watch it to see if it's a reimagining. It has the idea of a movie I remember watching when I was a kid. It is called Night of the Creeps.
I have heard of that.
And Night of the Creeps is directed and written by Fred Decker, who he also wrote or co-wrote House.
Really?
Yes.
That's really cool.
And they both came out in 1986.
That's really awesome. I would love to see like his vision.
Yeah.
For like what does he think horror is?
But in my opinion, I like Night of the Creeps, although in my nostalgia goggle glasses that I have on, I feel like I liked more Night of the Creeps than I did Slither. Because I know I watched Slither when it came out, 2005. I was just coming out of high school. 2006, coming out of high school when going to college. So I don't really remember all that much of it. So I watched it yesterday and I was like, okay, this is a choice.
You didn't like it all that much?
It was okay. It was okay. It still had a little bit of all the over-the-top shenanigans of the 80s.
Yeah, see, that's something that
and 90s.
It did. That's something that I loved about this movie. This movie took everything a little bit too far.
Right.
And I was there for it.
And in this movie, I feel like the mayor was a character from a completely different movie.
Right? Mayor Jack was like, he was
over the top.
The one-liner zingers that Mayor Jack comes up with.
Right.
I was.
They gave him all to him, and he was over the top. I felt like he belonged in an 80s movie.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of Nathan Fillion. I watch pretty much anything that he's in. He's currently, I think it's still going on, currently starring in a show called Rookie. So if you haven't seen Rookie, you should go check it out. But my favorite one of his is obviously Firefly and Serenity. He was originally in...
That's the main character in Slither, the cop. The sheriff.
The sheriff. He's the main character. And he also was in a couple of episodes of Buffy, which was, 90s nostalgia, which is where I kind of got to know him.
I've seen none of the shows.
No, you haven't seen any of them.
I haven't seen Buffy. I haven't seen Firefly. I haven't seen... What's the other one?
The other one is Serenity and Rookie.
Yeah, Serenity, none of those I've watched.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny? I don't think you would like these shows now because shows that are from the 90s don't really age well for you.
I mean, the next generation aged pretty good.
The next generation, I think, is an exception because...
So Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Well, remember the Star Trek franchise carried over a lot of the morals and ethics of where we are today in terms of society. And I think that you get so cringe when you see things from the 80s and 90s that are just like passively misogynistic or racist, or like you're like, God dang, I don't even want to see this. Or even some of the like the CGI, like if it's not on point,
well, it's
it
not
bothers
that it's not on
you.
point. It's like why use it? Just go practical. It looked a lot better.
Yeah, and like I it's one of the things I love about you.
Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Oof, that was rough.
All
that
the external scenes.
The first season, the VFX are really rough. I mean, the computer generated VFX.
Yes, they are, and I mean they do improve by the end, but
by the end they're pretty good.
They're pretty good, but you kind of had to slog through some of that, and like that's cool. But if you didn't grow up with it, I wouldn't like it if I'd never seen it. You know.
But I grew up with a lot of these things.
You didn't grow up with like Buffy and...
Oh no, I didn't watch that.
Like,
no.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I watched Pete and Pete.
Oh, I love Pete and Pete. I didn't know you watched Pete and Pete.
Yeah, I watched Pete and Pete, and what was it? There was one where they were kind of like in a camp, or in a... I don't remember what it was called.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm sort of getting a vague memory. Tell me more.
It was... I don't know, it was a children's show. I think it was Nickelodeon from the late 80s, early 90s.
It wasn't Doug, right? It wasn't like...
No, Doug is animated.
Yeah, it was... Okay, this is another conversation.
Right? If somebody out there knows...
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
So, our favorite moment. Spoiler warning.
Yes, we're going to spoil Slither through and through.
Through and through. If you have not seen Slither from 2006... It's one of my favorite horror movies. Go watch it for me. Go watch it for Nathan Fillion.
Yes. It is not one of my favorite horror movies, but it was okay. It was an entertaining romp.
It is just so much fun. So this is a horror comedy. Most of what we cover is either cosmic horror or horror drama.
Or religious horror.
Or religious horror, which that's not really, it's just religious horror, right? There's no other subgenre of that.
I don't know. I have to research that. I know that, all the Conjuring stuff is kind of like religious horror.
Yeah.
Not so much Insidious. Insidious is not at all religious.
Oh, when we get into Insidious, that's going to be great.
Yes.
Another one with Patrick Wilson. That
And The
series.
Exorcist, that's religious horror.
Yeah, it is religious horror. I think that's more, don't they call it like possession horror?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Let us know in the comments if you know what it's called.
Yeah. I usually really like things that are supernatural that are coming at you because it's a little bit trickier to figure out. It's more interesting situations to try and survive through, and it's usually a lot more fun.
I see.
But then it can go the other way. The other way is it's way too over the top gore, and I'm like, nope.
Can Slither also be considered cosmic horror?
I think it could if they didn't.
It has the tentacle stuff and the little bugs that go in your mouth.
So my next comment, seriously, spoiler warning. Okay, you've watched the movie, right? You're back.
You watched it and you're back.
Okay, if they hadn't won, it would be cosmic horror.
Only if they hadn't won?
I think.
Like if he took over the whole planet and they're all kind of these tentacle creatures?
Yeah, I think if it was the whole, because, well, that's the thing. Would a zombie apocalypse be considered cosmic horror, or only
so.
if it was from outer space?
Yeah, I think if it's from outer space, I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea. But it's from outer space and it has to do with tentacles, and although it was a being, it wasn't an elder god or nothing like that.
I mean, to that point, remember that movie that we saw with Ryan Reynolds? He dies like immediately, where they're in space and they take on some sort of fungus that takes over the entire ship in space.
No.
It was really boring. It was an extreme. I think he slept through the whole thing.
Right. I don't remember.
And then it's like they're trying to crash land on the planet. I don't know. But that movie, would that be considered cosmic horror then? I don't think so. I think cosmic horror only has to do if it's like
extremely unexplainable, and in the end you start exactly where you began, knowing nothing but everything is existential dread.
I mean, that's a deep thing that you just said, but
I don't know.
But I don't know, I feel like it's got to be more than that. Like, I'm trying to dissect now the color out of space, because to me cosmic horror is always involving something anciently evil. But
isn't the creature in this movie ancient?
I guess it is. He takes over planet.
There's at one point that he's millions of years old.
I think the reason why I'm resisting the title of cosmic horror is because he's so goofy.
Right? It is goofy.
It's goofy, and goofy doesn't seem to fit with the inevitable dread.
Fit with the void,
like there's like no hope.
Right.
The feeling of no hope that it's taken over everything. But and maybe it's just the medium in which it's delivered. If it's delivered in the form of a little worm, maybe it doesn't feel cosmic horror-y. Like if it was like little tendrils taking over the entire planet, like through the soil, certainly cosmic horror.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into it.
Yes.
So it starts off with Sheriff Bill, who's clearly in love with Starla.
Right? It's in love with the lady.
Yeah. Okay. So I figured out why I love this movie.
Why?
It has Nathan Fillion. It's humor, and it's got a love story in it.
Yes.
I love me a good love story.
But in the end, they don't get together. They just survived together.
But they're getting together. Okay, they have no one else that will ever understand them. That's a trauma bond that will never be broken.
There's the other lady. There's three. There's another lady.
She's a teenager. She's a child. That they have a weird family now. They're just going to take care of each other.
Yeah, because all her family died.
Her family's dead. His whole family's dead. The other guy's whole town is. The entire town is dead.
And the lady's husband was the creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting together.
Okay, they're getting.
They will.
You heard it here.
Yes. Starla and Bill.
Yeah. Together. The end. They get together. Happy ending.
Yeah. See, I mean, no wonder I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this movie starts off with Bill, who's in love with Starla. She's a school teacher, and he is chief of police, and he's sort of surrounded by bumbling fools.
Yes.
And I do love that in a story because somebody who's surrounded by bumbling fools, it's going to be really funny. He's got some one-liners in there.
Yeah.
You can tell that the Mayor Jack, he is kind of a jerk.
Yeah, and the first scene he's at, he's just honking his horn.
Right.
Just mouthing off to this guy that is just buying, I don't know, beer in the giant America truck. And then you see a lady go like, "Hi, Mayor," after he's cursing this guy out, just screaming at him. And I
Right.
was like, "Okay, this is the mayor."
Right. And he's like, can't win them all. Like I
Right.
lost that constituent. Whatever.
With his dyed hair, like extremely.
Extremely platinum
Yeah.
dyed hair. So, um, so this actually, the first scene in the movie, we see this meteorite hit the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and we can tell it's like an alien creature that's hit the ground. Just to let you know, the alien's already there. Crash landed.
Yeah, and the scene where he's trying to sleep, and they're kind of like a boring night of being
Yes.
sheriffs in a car.
Yeah. They're just waiting. So then we fast forward, we get to know Starla and her husband Grant. Starla was 17 when she met Grant, and she kind of clung to him because she wanted to get away from her abusive family.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got married very young. And she's sort of committed to this relationship because he's committed to her. And he
Right.
is like in love with her.
Right.
But he's also kind of a jerk.
Yeah, but he has a lot of money, from what we
Yeah.
understand. But we never know what he works at.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
ephemeral. I have
Ephemeral work.
Yeah, ephemeral work. It's just work.
Yeah, it's just work.
You never know what he
whatever
does,
that
whatever that means. I have to go to work. That's
More than a school teacher, less than a millionaire, one
right.
would assume.
More than a school teacher, less than a millionaire.
Yeah. So,
Which that is a really broad,
it's very broad.
place to place someone.
No.
Like, more than a school teacher, which in the United States they make trash, and less than a millionaire. That's a really big.
It's a huge swath
Right.
of
So
ranges.
that's not saying a lot.
No.
That's like saying he was a little bit tall, a little bit short.
Right. That's saying he's 5'10".
Yes.
Okay. So the there's a couple of other things that happen, all interpersonal skills about what's going on. Bill, you meet his sort of crew at his little station.
Right. Which are a whole bunch of idiots.
Yeah, they're not that great.
Yeah.
I do love his receptionist lady who mans the switchboards. She's played by Jenna Fisher, who was on The Office. She plays Pam on the U.S. Office.
Really?
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one either.
Well, you wouldn't, sweetie.
Yeah.
But she has this big pile of hair, like very old school hair on top of her head. And I wish that she had been more in this movie. They must have cut a bunch of scenes from her because she was pretty well known even then.
Really?
Yeah.
Or maybe she was just on those little cameo pieces.
And maybe she just loved the show. I don't know.
The script?
Yeah, the script. But I'm surprised that she wasn't in more scenes. So Bill and they feature a grenade. I love
one grenade
that the entire
he said
police force
they
has.
would use it for hunting fish or something.
So you throw it in water and all the fish die.
There you go. That's hillbilly fishing right there. Is that legal?
I don't think so, but it's effective.
I guess we're gonna have to try it out.
Fish.
Throw a grenade in the pond.
Okay, grenades. With our track record with cutting ourselves with knives, we are not getting grenades.
I don't know.
We're not skilled.
We could try.
All right. So Bill is in love with Starla. Starla is enduring Grant. She's still committed to this marriage. And they have this moment where, like, she doesn't want to have sexy time, and he does. And so he's like, I'm going to go out and go for a walk.
And she's really fit.
Yeah, he is. Man, this actor put in the work.
He's played by Daryl's brother in The Walking Dead.
I'm going to look it up for you.
Yes, he's Daryl's brother in The Walking Dead, and he's also the blue guy in Guardians of the Galaxy, which I completely forgot.
Yeah,
the name of the character and the name of the actor.
He played that character because he's not really. No, he's not the blue. Yes, he is the blue guy.
Yes, he is.
There's two blue guys, and he's the one who.
There's
dies.
a lot of blue guys. There's a blue lady and a blue guy.
There is a blue.
The one with the mohawk, the red mohawk.
Yes. So he's played by Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. Yes.
So, and his name is Grant in this show. So he goes out for a walk, and there's this other lady who, like, almost gets with him.
Yeah, because she was infatuated with him since she was 11.
Oh my
like
God.
that. And he goes like, oh, weren't you 11? And she was like, at 11, I was game. It was like,
Ugh, it
okay,
was
throw in a
awful.
little bit of pedophilia in there.
Why would you
What,
do that?
what's
What's
with
the
these
point
what's with
of
these
this?
movies, with horror movies and being a pedo?
Well,
That's a thing with horror movies.
so I think that might have been to demonstrate that I don't know, like she's had some trauma in her life.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know.
So anyway, so they go for a long walk.
Hmm.
They find the alien creature.
Yes.
Grant decides to reject her and like go be with his wife.
But then he follows a trail of
A
slime,
trail of slime
which
from the creature.
I think should be our first tip.
Yeah. Okay. So you find weird something in the woods at night.
Right.
Okay.
First of all, why are you in the woods at night?
Okay. Whoa.
Don't be in the woods at night.
I love being in the woods at night.
Just don't do it.
No. I don't
mean,
like
that
that
is
tip.
different if you're, looking for goats or, checking on your animals. That's one thing. But just randomly walking down the woods at night, what time was it? Like 10, 11, 12, midnight?
Yeah, but like, what if you want to like spy some nighttime owl activity?
Nobody wants to spy nighttime owl activity at 12 in a random bush in the woods.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You think you do, but in reality, you just want to sleep.
No, what if you want to soak in the moon or, just have a nice
I
relaxing
can do
forest?
that from the window in my house.
Yeah, but you
Just
don't
look outside, look at, oh yeah, look, it's a moon. You know? Open
Okay.
a window and just lie on your bed and look through the window.
Okay. So we have different opinions on this. So we're going to come up with two separate rules.
Yeah.
Your rule is don't go into the woods.
Yeah, at midnight, don't.
Okay.
Stay home.
I'm going to take another tact. All right. Which is do what you want. You're an adult. You go into the woods at night if you want. However, be prepared.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because what if you feel the urge to go bathe in the moonlight at night, right? I mean,
and then follow a trail of slime.
Okay, well, okay, I didn't say that.
Okay.
All right. So you're in the woods at night, you're soaking up the moon, you're just enjoying the night, you're looking for the owls, you're looking for little bugs in nature, and it's just gorgeous, and you're wearing a little sweater. Anyway.
This is a white lady thing.
It might be. So this is what you feel. And then you see this unknown thing. First of all, you should be familiar with all of the flora and fauna in your region as a survival tip and as a rule. You should know the bugs, you should know the birds, you should know the bees, you should know the flowers, you should know the plants. Anything that you're typically going to find, that's what you should be familiar with. And this is a foreign plant. And what does that mean? Danger. Foreign plants are dangerous. You don't know.
Plants that you've never seen.
Plants that you've never seen. Even a plant that you've seen, if you're not familiar with what it does.
But there wasn't a plant. It was a cocoon.
Well, the thing is, if you don't know what it is, you have to assume that it could be dangerous.
And then when he followed it, it was kind of like a giant slimy jelly bean bug slithering.
It was super cute.
It was nasty. Imagine a giant yellowish,
blobby jelly bean.
Blobby jelly bean. I mean, earwax color jelly bean, just slithering and leaving a trail of mucus and slime. I wouldn't get near that. In fact, I would just throw a stone at it.
I would desperately want to touch it.
Yeah, you would get killed by it.
I would not. I would, because I'm not a fool, okay? I know my urges and I know my curiosities, but that's why we have this, okay?
Once that little thing opens and the little tendrils start shaking.
So the moment that this thing, I was like, you see that little hole on its back? That looks like, again, bad things look like anglerfish. Okay, this is the second or third time that we've encountered a monster that dangles itself like a little anglerfish and then kills you. Okay, you need to research anglerfish, research things that live in the deep of the ocean, because that's what aliens always do and look like and be and are. Is that they're just trying to get you. So if that's the case, and you're like, oh no, don't trust that, don't know what it is, don't know its capabilities.
Did you run away?
Strangers. No, you don't run away because it's cool.
Yeah, but it's gonna shoot you with the little thing, and it's gonna impale you, and then it's gonna parasite you. You don't want to parasite. You know what? You don't want to be aliened.
Well, I would say just throw your jacket over it.
How do you know your jacket is? First of all, it's a being from a different planet. Even you don't know it, but if you've never seen it, you have to think it's an Anunnaki, right? How they get born.
I know.
So if it's a being, you don't know if a jacket is enough to stop that little tendril thing. You don't know if it's gonna shoot something. You don't know if it's gonna
That's true.
throw a light. You
That
don't
is
know what's
true.
gonna happen.
I mean, realistically, jelly bean Anunnaki is very dangerous. I just would prefer that obviously you should leave and run away and blah 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 because but it's so cool. It's like something that you don't know about. So, I mean, obviously, if you are prepared, you should have equipment with you to be able to, protect yourself but also observe it.
But he did not have equipment.
He didn't have anything. He didn't have any specimen jars. He didn't have any equipment like in his car. I don't know why he didn't. What if you encounter a stray cat that was hit by a car and you don't have a cage in your car like ready to take it? What kind of a person are you?
Yeah, I don't know. A person that, just lives his life.
Anyway, I would immediately, because you have a cell phone, call authorities. But
what authority are you going to call at midnight in Podunk town?
Fish and Wildlife.
In the middle of nowhere. All they can call is the sheriff and his crew.
No, there should be a Fish and Wildlife. There's things that you can call.
Not a little tiny town in this movie.
All right, well, maybe not in that tiny little town. But you know what? You know a guy. If you're living in a tiny little town, you know a guy who's...
He doesn't know a guy. The sheriff knows a guy.
Yeah, the sheriff knows. Grant knows no one.
Right? The sheriff, at one, he goes like, call the CDC. It's like, you got peoples.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So I would recommend that you either leave if you're a boring person or you be prepared. Are you going to come up? Come on. You can jump on a couch. I think he might have gotten you, baby.
He got us.
He got us. All right, bud. So that would be my recommendation. I mean, obviously, if you really want to be safe, don't touch it. Walk the other way. Don't follow the slime monster. Don't do anything. Just be boring.
Just go back to your wife.
Leave. Just go away. Go back to your wife.
But he didn't, and so he got aliened.
He got aliened right in the chest.
Right? He threw that little tendril thing.
Yeah.
And it got in him, and then it burrowed in through his chest, and then they went to the wildest VFX of, I don't know, early CG or 2000 CG.
It was very CSI moment,
right?
Where you see this little worm go in through his chest, and then you have an X-ray vision of his bones and his organs, and it went into the back of his brain.
Right.
So you could be like, all right, well, it's a brain worm, and that what happens with brain worms. We all know that.
Yeah, they control you.
They control you.
Yeah.
They control you, just like a little parasite.
But in this movie, kind of like it turned into the brain worm, but it also absorbed all his thoughts and his life and kind of like his personality. Yeah.
So he heads home, and it's the next day. This is an interesting scene because it's pivotal to the movie. His wife felt bad that she had rejected him sexually the night before. So she got herself all dressed up. And then that morning she was trying to make amends and
being all sexy,
and try and reconnect with him. And the alien has never experienced anything like this before.
Right.
The only thing he's ever experienced is conquering and just being alone and making everything into himself. So I think that sexual connection, that experience was the first time he'd ever felt that with anything other than himself. And I think that's really, it wasn't just that he had the memories of Grant. I think it was also the combination of that and the experience that he had.
Right.
So they have this moment. And she goes about her day, and he decides
to eat meat.
To eat meat.
Not some of the meat.
All of the meat.
All of the meat.
It's a really funny scene. Like, he's unloading his pickup truck, and it's just filled with bags and bags.
And he went to the store and was like, "Oh yeah, I want a ribeye. No, make it 10, make it 10.
Yeah.
No, just make it 14. 14 ribeyes."
Just kept going up.
And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have a party?" I was like, "Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
You're gonna have a party."
So, Starla, his wife, is like really excited about the fact that they had sex.
Right.
And here's a survival tip because a couple of other things happen, but it's not really important. She comes home and he's put a lock on their basement door.
Right.
And she
just
asks,
a rando crappy lock.
A rando crappy lock. And she asks him about it because like she's like, you're drilling into like the baseboard, like what's happening? And he's like, well, your birthday's in 2 months.
Yeah, your birthday's coming up. Aren't you excited? And she's like, it's not for 2 months.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
still a long ways away.
We know that I plan your birthday months and months and months in advance.
Yes. That is another white lady thing.
So I'm always super excited about it. And I asked you about it before we started filming.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
are you excited for your birthday? I'm like, no.
It's in December.
I stopped being excited for my birthday when I was 10. Just another day.
So I can understand his perspective on this a little, but I can also understand hers because I know how annoying it must be for me to ask you about your birthday because I know that you're not going to be excited about it. I'm excited about it, and I'm transferring that emotion. Like, aren't you excited? And you're like,
I am now.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
So I understood that dynamic. That was just a marriage thing.
Yes.
But here's the other thing.
But that doesn't explain the lock.
Yes. So this is the thing. Like, even if I asked you that and like I was like, hey, are you excited about your birthday? And you're like, so you put a lock on the door because of my birthday?
This lady exists in this house where there are rooms in the house
that she
never goes in.
There's nothing she needs down there ever.
She never goes into the basement.
I assume that there are breaker boxes down there. I assume that there's tools. What about canning?
I mean, it looks like
a basement. It doesn't can things.
I mean, looks like, ladies in the country in 2005 didn't work with breakers, according to this movie.
It was an odd moment that I'm like, why would you not need access to every part of your home? Like, I don't know.
Can you imagine if I just take a random door in this house and just put a bolt on it and say, oh, it's for your birthday.
Right? I would be very suspicious. So if your spouse does this, I would be suspicious of their behavior.
Right? Would that be considered a tip to survival in this situation?
That is a survival tip. Yeah, it's not a golden rule. I would just say it's like baseline.
It's like, okay, this is weird.
It's a little odd. But would you consider that to be an initiation of the 7-minute rule?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because in this
it would be an initiation of keep asking until you know what's happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, she doesn't really press him, but I get the feeling that she's not the person in their relationship that presses.
Yeah, she's not.
No, she's not.
Just when she doesn't want to give up the hoo-ha.
Right.
It was like, no means no.
Right. So, she just lets that go. Not great. If she had figured that out right then, if she'd gone in there right then, she might have prevented the whole thing.
You think? Because
Maybe.
Right then, he already had a couple of dogs dead down there, I'm guessing.
I maybe.
Because I think he'd already killed...
that one dog.
One dog. The only dog we see him kill.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, he's got 100 pounds of meat down there.
Right.
I mean, that's an odd thing.
Unrefrigerated. Which, that is nasty.
Ugh.
Just meat that you just take out of the fridge or you just butcher is kind of nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's been out for 20 minutes and it's not frozen, you're like, okay, let's manage this situation.
Let's cook it
quickly.
Let's dunk it in salt. Dunk it in salt.
Let's smoke it.
Right? Let's smoke it. Let's do something with it.
Okay, so a couple of other things happen. This guy goes back to the original lady and he kidnaps her and turns her into
there's a party and she's getting all highfalutin for the party, and at this point he has tentacles coming out of his chest where that little thing came out of. Really nasty. That was a nasty VFX.
That was a nasty VFX. That one of the things I love about this movie is it's weirdly body horror, and also like it feels like monsterish. I love that combination.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And he's gonna go for Starla, but then he
Yes, but then he
decides, no,
remembers, no,
I
this
don't
is my
like
partner,
her.
I like her. So then she went to the other lady.
Yeah. And so it seems like what I love about this too is there are specific rules to how this creature works, and you can tell them. It's very visually presented to you in the story. That there's different classifications of how this creature reproduces and how it consumes.
Yeah.
So it goes in, it injects, so that we all know the rules that we're dealing with.
Right.
So it injects a person with its
Two.
both of its tentacle things that come out of its chest.
Has to be both.
It has to be both. Then that person becomes ravenous for food.
It is because those little creatures are growing inside them.
The slug things are growing inside of them, and eventually it'll get so big that they burst open and there's millions or thousands that come out of them.
Mm-hmm.
When those things come out,
creatures.
right, obviously that host is dead, but those little slug creatures will then go and find other hosts, and those hosts want to merge with Grant.
Yes. They want to go back into him and just be one till he grows and grows.
Physically merge with him, body and body.
And only he can create those little creatures by injecting you with those tentacles.
Yes. And the slug creatures, before they merge with him, they already have his mind, and what they're desperate for is to be with his body.
A part of him, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very simple life cycle. It's very easily explained. This is one of the reasons why I love this movie so much.
It's just a simple creature.
It's a simple creature.
Which then, if it's such a simple creature, it doesn't make sense at how it can conquer planets.
Yes, it does.
How does he get off of the planet? Think about it. It doesn't have any technological advancement as we know it. So how does it beat gravity?
So I have a theory about this because I have a theory that there's a final evolution, which is at some point when you consume, because it consumes animals of every kind.
Right. So every living creature,
once it becomes a part of him, I think on some level he can sense that, okay, it's all done. And the life cycle goes into its final stage, just like a butterfly would. And maybe the final stage is, okay, now...
spaceship?
Well, we take the most essential pieces of it, and it becomes something else. Now, it could also be, if a planet is dead, I wonder if the
planet is not dead.
No, I'm giving a theory here.
Oh, okay.
So my theory also could be, if it consumes every living thing, and it could be that it somehow affects the planet's gravitational shift to a point where the planet itself has died, and the planet starts to sort of either go off of its axis or something where it can start to disintegrate.
Yeah, that's interesting. But then, how does it acquire velocity in space?
So
to keep moving, the initial explosion or something?
Aren't we as a planet? Now, I need to, understand my quantum mechanics and my Einstein's theory a little bit more than I do.
Okay.
But my understanding is that we are moving at a very high velocity already.
Yes, you are. It is, but it's rotating around the sun because of the mass of the sun. The gravitational pull from the sun keeps you in orbit around the sun.
If the mass of the planet shifts, wouldn't that gravitational force shift slightly?
But the mass is not shifting.
But what if it does? What if that's my theory is, what if the act of him consuming these things somehow creates something different in how the planet moves?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think we're just overthinking it. They just didn't think about this in this movie.
See,
it just gets there and that's it.
See, I disagree because there's no such thing as overthinking in terms of theoretical monsters
that
stuff.
Can leave the planet.
Right? Why not? I mean,
I think he just gets so big, then he just lays out a giant fart so massive and big that it can, break gravity until it gets to, space and just keep going.
That's interesting.
That's how I think it goes.
I mean, if it's
because it fits with the quackiness of the movie.
It does. And if it all becomes one giant creature, it would potentially have the energy to expel something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
We don't know.
its essence once it's acquired all the knowledge of that planet, of being that planet.
I guess.
And it's weird and it's kind of sad that ultimately that creature just is lonely.
Yeah. Well, now he has
Now he has Starla.
Starla. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Anyway, keep on keeping
so
on.
that is the how the creature works.
Yes.
And so he starts to create this creature, and the sheriff and Bill and his entire team start to realize that this is happening because Starla calls the doctor because Bill starts to look not good.
Yeah, he looks nasty.
He looks
He has
rough.
bulges. He looks like he was beaten, but also like
Things are growing
growth
out of him. They're looking for the girl who he's kidnapped, and they realize that Grant's taken her. They confront him, and my favorite scene is when she starts to have a physical fight with him, and his arm goes all weird.
Yeah, it goes like a little tentacle and just goes around her neck, and then they all bust in with the gun. Oh, and they're like, "What's?"
They get so shocked,
right? They're like, "What is this? Why is his arm all wiggly?" Yeah, like a little octopus.
And he releases Starla and he runs off, and it's just that whole
From there on out, they referred to him as the octopus,
right,
or a squid person.
the squid guy, and I love that they use little squid icons to indicate where he's attacked different cows and livestock and stuff.
Yeah, which right now I just remember something. Which can we go back a little bit?
Yeah.
If you watch this movie, so the lady he kidnaps, she has a child.
A baby,
a baby, kind of like, I don't know, 1 year, 2 year maybe.
Yeah, he's really young.
Right?
He's real cute.
And it's only like 2 or 3 scenes, but there's a scene where
he's in a crib.
She puts him in the crib, and when they pan onto this kid, he's eating.
I swear to God, he's eating a tomato.
And they just never mention it. Is that like, did the lady just give him tomatoes to munch on?
Did we imagine the tomato?
I don't know, but I kind of saw. We didn't go back and rewatch it.
Right, because now that I'm saying it, I'm like, because I remember you going, does he have a tomato? I'm like, I think he has a tomato. It was like a red something, and I was like, yes, he must have had a tomato.
Could it be that, during filming, the baby was just screaming and screaming and will only shut up with a tomato, and they just gave him a tomato? Just for the one shot?
That would be really cute.
Because it was like, just munch on a tomato. Like, that's weird. And they never mention it, and you never see the kid ever again. That's the last scene of this child, is him munching on a tomato.
And they do mention him again. They say that he's okay.
Yeah, but he's not on camera no more.
No. He's never on camera again. And it's really interesting. When they finally find this girl, he's been holding her in like a barn.
Yeah.
And she becomes...
eating her.
Yes. She becomes as big as our house.
Right? Like a giant tick.
Yes.
When ticks just grow and grow and grow. That's exactly... I think they said, okay, this needs to be a giant tick.
Yeah. And then she's like, could you hand me some of that possum over there?
Yeah, dead possum. But by this point, he has completely turned into a tentacle, squid, wiggly monster.
Yes, he has. Yeah, and Starla kind of tries to talk him down. Kudos to her for trying. None of it works out. Everybody dies except for Bill and Mayor Jack.
Bill, Mayor Jack, and
Starla.
No, and the other sheriff lady that they had the really, jokes that did not age well about her being gay.
Yes, that was awful. But she does die because they spit on her neck and they kill her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But she did not get the little worm into her mouth.
Yes, she didn't get the worm in her mouth, but they spit on her neck and it's acid spit.
Yeah, but it was weird because it's acid spit, but then you can see her face kind of like plumping up.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
They had an allergic reaction to their spit.
Yeah, I think that they all did.
Yeah.
So Bill, Mayor Jack, and Starla dash to the car and start driving away. And then we fast forward to where the slugs are. And the slugs are headed into this family's home where this somewhat...
So before this, there's that lady that just was in her house. And both her sisters, her mother, and her father got
That's what I'm talking about right now.
Oh, okay.
The slugs are headed into this nice house, and there's this teenager who's talking with her parents, and she's basically trying to tell them that, like, foreign things are fancy and you don't understand because we live in a small town and you understand nothing. And like then she's like in a bathtub and her mom's like, get out of the tub, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm exfoliating, you know.
Right.
She's like trying to enjoy herself, and the slugs come in, they murder everybody.
Yeah, but you're having your timing a little bit off here, because they get to that property and then they go to check, because in that property is where they thought the monster would come to get livestock.
But
Right?
everybody's seen the movie.
Right. So then, and then they go. The thing explodes, and then he goes out first because the lady in the precinct wasn't answering because he wanted to get the CDC. And then while he's looking for a car, this is happening in her house. So he gets her.
So you need to say the names and not him and her, because people don't know what you're saying.
I don't remember the names of these people. The sheriff and then the 16-year-old lady.
Sheriff Bill.
Bill, and what was the lady's name?
No, I forgot.
No, nobody knows. It
Well,
doesn't really matter.
The thing is, I want to get the girl's name because she's the only one whose name that I don't know.
And she's one of the only ones who survived.
She is
Well,
one
she's
of
the only one who survived from her family.
Kylie.
Kylie. That's the character's name.
The character's name, because they don't really say her name very often.
Yeah, they don't.
And so that's why I'm like, you know, I know Sheriff Bill, I know Mayor Jack, I know Starla, I know Grant.
Not Kylie.
But not Kylie.
So Kylie's whole family died.
Also, Kylie is kind of a baller. She is fantastic. She fights off everybody. She knows immediately things are happening. So while she's in the tub, because this is an important scene, she has one of those slugs try to go into her mouth, and she
grabs it.
She grabs it. And before she can pull it out, she gets a vision that we all get to see.
So those slugs are psychic too.
Yes.
They have psychic powers.
They have psychic powers. So she gets a vision of what these slugs are and their ancient relationship to taking over planets and Grant. So it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Yes.
And so she learns the history of everything. She traps herself in a car. Her like possessed family try to come and grab her. It's really terrifying.
And then the sheriff comes to save the day.
And saves the day.
And then they run and they get in the car.
They get in the car. So then they're driving, and the sheriff is trying to get the lady in the police station to go. That's when he calls the CDC. And like you think it's all going to be okay, and it's not. Her name is Shelby, the lady in the station.
Okay.
And Shelby, within like 2 minutes before they even make it to the station, is dead.
Yes, the slugs come down.
The slugs come down on the ceiling.
And
I was like, dang it, they really didn't use this actress very often.
Are you sure she was popular back then?
I thought so, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
A couple of other things happen, but one of my favorite things is that these creatures can take over deer.
Right? Animals, it looks
All
like.
animals. So at this point, we've got to talk a little bit about survival. So everybody here is doing everything right, but they're also relying on a ton of luck.
Yes.
If you know that there are creatures that go into your mouth in order to take you over, I would do everything I could to find a way to barricade my mouth.
That's easy. Get a GIMP mask.
Okay.
Okay. That is super easy.
Dave,
go to your nearest.
Listen.
Go to your nearest. This is what. Listen. This is what you do.
Why?
Listener/viewer. I'm going to give you gold here. This is what you do. If there's creatures that are going to be getting into your mouth to, possibly take over everything and, the world and rule the world, you go to your nearest adult store. You get one of those GIMP suits. You don't have to wear the suit if you don't want to, but if you want to, hey, nobody will mind. So you get the GIMP mask, right? I'm talking about those black leather, fake leather ones that it has a zipper in your mouth and it has 2 zippers around your eyes. Now, you don't want to wear the zippers around your eyes because you want to be able to see. But the zipper around your mouth, you just zip it in good. And you just walk around with your GIMP mask and you're solved. It won't be getting into your mouth. You have a zipper. That is how I would survive this situation. Just get my nearest GIMP mask.
Okay. Barring a GIMP mask, which I guess is a thing that like
Yeah, of course, GIMP
okay,
masks are a thing.
all right.
Who doesn't
So
have a GIMP mask?
who has a GIMP mask?
I mean, a lot of people. Hey, no kink shaming here.
Shame, no kink shame. But I'm just saying the accessibility of a GIMP mask is not necessarily the best use of our listener slash viewers' time. I
Uh,
would say there's even if you head to an adult store in order to get said mask, there's probably not going to be enough.
yeah, but
How many stores have really, by the way, nice GIMP masks that aren't just made of like spandex that are easily trashed?
viewer, if list slash listener, if you own a GIMP mask, you need to fill us in and how it is that you acquire said GIMP mask. Do you have to measure your head for it to fit, or is it one size fits all?
My suggestion was going to be a lot more simple.
Okay, that's my suggestion.
So my suggestion would get more elaborate over time, but remember initially when they were pulling the bodies out of the barn, they put cloth over their faces and noses because it smelled so bad in the barn from all the meat.
Yeah.
So do that initially, and then you can get a more complex guard for your mouth.
I'm not gonna risk a dinky little cloth over my mouth. Leather, gimp it up. I would gimp it up good.
Here's another thing that you can do. Okay, you could also actually get a mask from the hardware store that's made
or
for like respiration.
Or now, since you've already gone to the store, right? Granted, I give you that they might not have GIMP masks, but they will have the little ball collar that goes in your mouth.
So when you said GIMP mask, I actually thought about that, and I don't think that would work.
No, why not?
Because if you have a ball collar in your mouth, I think that you can still open your mouth. Like it's not like something can't get in.
Yeah, but those things are huge. They would have to shove that ball in, and then you would just die because of asphyxiation.
All the times that I've seen ball collars, it's not. Aren't they like tiny?
I wouldn't know.
Well, I'm just saying, like when we've seen them in movies, like they
just they just clog up your mouth real good, and you can't talk. That's the thing. You can't open your mouth because those are for dominatrix. When they beat you, you can't say anything.
That seems risky. I don't. Why would you go to a sex store when you could go to a hardware store and get actual masks that are like meant for your face to protect you?
I mean, if there's no hardware store, you go to the.
Why would there not be a hardware store and be a sex store in a small town that has GIMP masks? That makes no sense.
Listen, this movie makes no sense in a lot of ways.
No, this movie makes more sense than 5 out of 10 of the other supernatural movies that we've had. At least there's a system in place. You know exactly how to protect yourself here. Whereas in The Nun, it's like, well, what's her powers? I don't know. She can float around and she can move things with her mind and she can like possess you, but not, but yes. No one knows. Her name protects her. No, it doesn't. Like here, all you got to do is prevent it from getting in your mouth, and you're going to a sex store? That makes no sense.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure a GIMP mask is gonna save you good.
Okay, don't go to a sex store. There's not enough GIMP masks.
Listen, listener slash viewer, if you think the best course of action in this situation is to go and get a GIMP mask, leave us a comment down below.
Just tell me number 1 if you want to do the GIMP mask, and number 2 if you use mine. Which here, give me your hat.
No.
Yes, I want to show you something.
No.
Just real quick.
No, I'm not gonna give you my hat. No, you get another hat. See, right there, you're dead. It already got into your mouth. You're dead. It got into your mouth because I'm looking for a hat. If you had a GIMP mask, boom, zipper, done.
But you don't have a GIMP mask. You have a hat. All you gotta do is put the hat over your face.
How are you gonna see?
It's got mesh over the top.
But the other ones don't.
No, I'm just saying, listen, okay? There are so many ways to protect your face outside of having a sex toy.
It's not a toy. It's a mask. I mean, conceivably, if it's Halloween, you could go to your nearest Halloween store and get another mask, but don't protect your face because, they can come through the body.
Those are made of terrible material. Yeah. It's not going to protect you.
Therefore, GIMP.
Wait a minute. Are we lost in this conversation to the point where we're not thinking of something super simple about how to protect our face?
I don't know. I mean, you can go to a hardware store and get those complete face shields.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You
I
did.
said hardware
Yeah,
store.
but you didn't say the face shield. There's a difference between the shield and a respiratory mask. Yeah. There's a
Okay.
difference.
If you have access to a GIMP mask and you already have one, that's perfect. If you don't have access to a GIMP mask, I would suggest that you not go search for one because you're going to find something at a hardware store more easily. Or you just take a long sleeve t-shirt, you tie it around your nose and your mouth, and there you go.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure everybody has masks after COVID.
I'm sure that that's not true.
I guess. Leave us a comment down below.
Leave us a comment down below.
Anyway, let's move
Let's
on,
move on.
from this GIMP mask.
Okay, so I don't remember what they're doing. They're just driving away from the creature at this point in the car.
Yeah, in the car, and then it took the
Right.
They possessed.
I remember.
Yeah, they possessed the lady that's from the office, and then she calls them, and
He has a fight with a deer.
Yeah, right. No, not yet, because then there's a truck that crashes into them, and then they abduct.
Yeah, Bill and his cruiser is in a car accident, and all of the creatures that have the worms in them, they're now the people. They've become basically zombies that all have the mind of Grant. Wherever Grant is holed up, which is at their house, they start to grab Starla and they decide to take her back to the house. They also grab Mayor Jack. So Bill and Kylie, what's her name?
I think it was that Kylie.
Kylie.
Yeah.
I got it right.
Kylie.
So Sheriff Bill and Kylie go into the police station to try and contact the CDC. That doesn't work. He has a great fight with a zombie deer.
Yeah. Well, he goes in first, and then the zombie deer is just murdering him.
Yes.
Right? And then Kylie from the outside sees him just floating, just going from corner to corner. And she comes in and saves him.
Because the deer is like trying to kill him. She saves the day. They grab the grenade. They head over to Starla's house to try and save her. So they realize exactly what's happening. So they head over to where Grant is holed up. He's becoming this giant gelatinous creature. He's still in love with Starla.
With tentacles and shit.
Yeah, and all the people who are zombie worms.
Gross.
It was really gross.
They take their clothes off, and then they
try to merge
touch it,
with
and
him.
then they merge with him, and they're like, "Ah, this is the best." It's like,
it wasn't okay.
It's weird. It's nasty.
It's nasty. So Starla wakes up. They've put her back in this white nightgown.
Yes, and at this point, the mayor, they also have the mayor in the basement. And he wakes up, and they're all eating, and he's like, "Oh my God, I want to get out of here." He gets out of the basement, and then it gets got with the tentacles.
Yeah, so he's going to become one of those eating monsters.
But it's interesting that when it got him, you can see that he still has. That's why I think this character doesn't fit at all with the movie.
Yeah.
All the rules that affect everybody doesn't affect them, because everybody that got that little slug, they turned into, a part of the monster.
Yes.
Not him. He kept his individuality.
Well, remember, when you become one of the creatures that eats, you keep your individuality throughout the entire process. You're just hungry.
Ah, yes.
So he was one of the hungry ones.
Right, he didn't get the slug.
He didn't get the slug. He got the stabby.
Yeah, the stabby.
Yes. So when Bill decides to make his move and come in and save Starla, immediately Mayor Grant gets in front of him and says, "Shoot me. Like, kill me."
Yeah, and he doesn't
even hesitate.
He's like, bam, you're dead.
He kills him.
Yeah.
So Kylie's outside. Starla is inside trying to convince Grant that she'll be with him. And her plan was terrible. So her plan was to stab Grant with the end of a hair. Like an all-powerful creature.
Absorbing people left and right.
That was terrible. So, all right, we got to go to survival for a second. If you are in Starla's position where this ancient alien creature is in love with you and wants to take you with him, I guess to whatever next planet. I don't know if
French it.
French it?
Yeah.
French
Well,
kiss it?
yeah.
Why?
I mean, that way he's not gonna know what hit him.
But she does that, and then she stabs
No,
him.
but she doesn't get to.
The thing is, I don't think the stabbing is a good idea. I don't think the stabbing, there's no part of this giant gelatinous body that you can kill, in my opinion, unless it's the explosion piece or something akin. So I would say if you want to defeat this monster, you have to really be smart. She needed to play the long game on this one. You know, you stay with him for a couple of days.
What if the long game is turn into one of those things and merge with it?
How would that be the long game?
Yeah, well, that's
you mean that would just be the fail?
Yeah, you don't know if that's what it wants.
Well, no, you don't. But at that point, you don't have the stabbing is not going to work. Just period. If you just stab a regular person, he's still going to kill you. I don't know.
Well, it depends on what weapon you're using.
The only thing she's using is the end of a hair comb.
Yeah, but I'm talking a random person. If you have a really nice knife, you probably, get away with it.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the long game is you need a better weapon. This is not your moment, honey.
Than a hair comb.
Than a hair comb. Even just if it was a person, I wouldn't use a hair comb. I mean, I guess depending on the location and all this, but she had the opportunity to get a better weapon if she just waited it out a little. I mean, it's her kitchen. She knows where the knives are.
Yeah.
And she could have gained his trust a little bit more, I mean, especially if he's on the brink of trying to change his nature for you, you can kind of slow down the process a little bit of the taking over the world.
Yeah.
So I just feel that she didn't really play that well, but respect for at least trying, I guess.
Yeah.
So Bill comes in all ablaze with this grenade.
With the grenade, right? I'm going to throw the grenade.
And he's so stupid about it. Like, he tries,
yeah,
but...
The creature sees him and knocks the grenade off. He picks up the grenade, it knocks it again, and then it falls in the pool. And it blows up in the pool.
I love the symmetry between it blowing up in the pool and they were going to go fishing, and that's exactly how you fish with a grenade.
Right.
It was like, well, it ended up in the water no matter what.
And then it did, then that's it. No more grenade.
No more grenade. And that was their coup de grace.
Right? And then he fights the creature, and this creature stabs him with one of the stabby stabbers.
Yes. And the other stabby, he's got it.
Right? He got it in his hand.
And it was just pure luck.
Right?
It was pure luck. It was what is the gas tank called?
It's a gas container for propane gas.
Yeah, okay. So it's a propane gas tank that just happened to fall out from a nearby grill.
Yeah. It looks like a 5-gallon propane tank.
Yes, and he injects the end of the stabby into the propane tank intake.
What if the propane tank was empty?
Right? I'm just saying, it was all luck.
Yeah.
It was totally luck.
And not only luck, so he stabbed it. He took the stabber into the propane tank, right?
Yeah.
And then the gas. Then he was like, okay, hopefully this works in reverse. Where you're just banking on luck.
You're just banking on luck.
And then you don't have any fire starter near you, so you're banking on more luck. Then the gas is gonna fill this massive creature, get out of one of his, holes in his face, and a spark from the ceiling is gonna, make it go boom.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of luck right there. This guy should have played the lottery.
He should have. And I also thought that we learned from Mythbusters that if you shoot something that has gas in it, it will not explode.
But she didn't shoot it.
Yeah,
or did she?
That was, he said,
shoot
it. And that was what it caused it to explode.
Yeah, because the bullet in itself is not, unless it hit.
Yeah, there's no...
Unless he had metal in him that sparks.
He didn't. That was, in movies, when you shoot things, they explode. In real life, that's not a thing.
You shoot them and they just shot.
They're just shot.
Right.
So, conceivably, you even make it worse because now the gas is a place to escape, maybe. I don't know how creatures built, but... I mean, so the plan, ultimately, at this point, it's all up to us, okay? Because none of their plans were good.
But they worked. But they worked only because they had plot shield.
Yeah, plot shield saved them. That was it. So let's rewind to what you should have done.
Okay.
All right. Bill and Kylie are making their plan, all right, to go in. Starla is inside, she's kidnapped. Okay?
She's seducing it.
She's seducing it. So there's 3 different people, there's 3 different ways to survive. Okay, you've got a mission now, so it's not just about survival, it's also about saving the world for some reason, because I guess you have to. So, Bill, Sheriff Bill, you need more weapons. You can't just go in with 1 grenade. I know that it feels like you don't have enough time, but at the very least, drive a car through the living room. And at least, you know what I mean?
Wasn't there more weapons in the sheriff's locker?
So the only thing I saw were like shotguns and guns. It's still something, but I didn't really see. I mean, because he didn't have a ton of weapons and they didn't have a ton of people, so I assumed that each person had a weapon. It would have been a good practice for them to take the weapons off of the dead bodies before they had reanimated. But if they didn't do that, okay, that's fine. I assume in a sheriff's car that they've got weapons in the back, so maybe they didn't have time to leave. I don't know, but if you have no weapons, the weapon you have is you grab a vehicle. And I think you drive it through, you distract him at least a little bit, and then you throw the grenade and you sacrifice yourself, I guess, if you have to, but hopefully you don't have to. Or you could just leave the grenade in the car if fire really kills it. Or you could light the house on fire. If he's really stuck in there and he's made of this giant gelatinous ooze, light everything on fire. That's just for Bill.
Or get a GIMP mask.
Oh my God.
You can do that too.
Okay.
Just imagine how cool all that you just said would be.
If you were wearing one.
A GIMP mask.
That would, I mean, your survival would go way up, I guess.
Yes.
So
your stats would go up.
The other one is Kylie. I think Kylie did everything right. I do think that while he was doing his thing, she should have been lighting the house on fire.
Yeah.
I think that would have been smart. I also think that if you're really concerned about this plan working, you should figure out a way to inject it with some sort of virus or something. See if, I mean, I don't know exactly how that works. You don't have a virus on hand.
You're better off finding a GIMP mask than a virus.
It's true. I mean, I don't really know why that would... I don't know why I said that. I'm just thinking off the top of my head about ways to kill a gelatinous ooze creature that absorbs life.
So in this movie, after all that luck, she shoots it, it blows up, everybody that's connected to it, so the whole town is dead.
Everybody's dead.
And so who survived? Bill survived?
Yeah, Sheriff Bill, Starla, and Kylie.
Those are the only 3 survivors.
Yes.
And according to you, they're going to get together now.
Okay, trauma bond. I can't say this as anymore. Trauma bond.
Okay.
Sheriff Bill is connected to Starla. He's always loved her. The only person that Starla...
They were going to run away together.
They were going to run away together. They should have. That's my favorite part of the movie. Like, the movie that could have been.
Right.
I mean, and then Kylie, she has no family except for these people, and no one will ever understand what they've been through. I mean, they can't go to a therapist. How are they going to be talked to a therapist about this?
Nobody's going to believe them.
No. Of course they will. The National Guard's going to be there in like 5 hours.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
So how would you have survived with this movie?
How would you have survived? Let us know.
You let us know. There's a lot of questions that we asked in this. We need your input.
Yes, we do.
So remember to like and subscribe to this channel. In this particular episode, I need you to comment. I need you to talk to us because we disagree.
Now we have to find a link for a GIMP mask so people can get a GIMP mask, you know?
I don't want to do it.
But it'll be what is it you call it?
An affiliate link.
An affiliate link. A GIMP mask affiliate link. You know?
Well,
Outsmarring the Shadows GIMP mask.
The problem is, what if it's a low quality GIMP mask?
All you needed to do is just, cover your mouth.
I'm just gonna link some supplies from a hardware store that you can utilize.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a nice respirator.
Yeah. That helps too.
That'll be better. A GIMP mask, you're on your own. So, thank you so much for joining us. Please be vigilant, be safe, and be the last one standing.
Always.